Before I start, I just want to say I'm so sorry to the friends and family that lost Annette Carrion. I mentioned her in this video as her videos helped me choose my bike, and I recorded this before I found out that she had passed away. So I just wanted to say rest in peace. You were a huge inspiration to me, and you will be missed. Alright guys, I'm on my Triumph Street Triple R. First time in the mountains with it. First time on the highway today. I've only had it about 2 or 3 weeks. And the irony is, on my second bike, the Triumph Bonneville, I didn't take it to the mountains for like 6 months because I kept thinking I needed to get used to the weight and the height of it. And when I finally did take it to the mountains, I still wasn't used to it. It was a struggle the entire time. And this bike, I've ridden it twice before today, and it has been the easiest thing I have ever ridden in the mountains. Either I've become a pro in the past year, or this bike is incredibly easy to ride. So I'm going to talk to you guys about why I got it and why I love it. First, I'm going to talk about the modifications I did, because this is a 2014 Triumph Street Triple R. At stock height, I believe it's 31 inches, and my inseam, I guess, must be 30 inches because it was a little tall for me. So I lowered the bike. Basically, I just tried to copy everything that Kate had on her Street Triple R, because when I test rode that bike, I loved it so much. So I got the same lowering kit as she did, which was the SOUPY lowering kit. Lowered it 1 inch, and it came with an adjustable kickstand, which is so ginormous and ugly, but whatever. And the shop that I took it to get lowered also adjusted the front suspension. That was the only suspension they adjusted. I also had frame sliders put in. This is so embarrassing, but I'll just admit it. I actually just dropped this bike today on this side, and as you can see, the frame sliders took the impact. Best $70 ever spent. Oh, it looks like the front light got a little dinged up, but look, it's made to bend, so that's okay. Even though it's ugly, I might just leave it unless they break off, then I'll replace them. I do want to get a windscreen, even though going highway speeds on this bike was incredible. It deflects wind so well. I was going 75, even 80, and the wind was still totally fine. It's crazy. Even on both my cruisers, even with my S40 that had a windscreen, the wind was always too strong. It hurt my neck after a long highway ride. But I rode 2 hours on the highway to get to the mountains today, and I was totally fine. I had a little bit of a headache, which is normal for me after a long highway ride, but my neck wasn't sore. I wasn't exhausted from the wind. It was awesome. So anyways, let me get on the bike and I'll talk to you guys about how awesome it is. First of all, I'm in the clutch and no acceleration, and this is all the acceleration I get while holding in the clutch on this bike. It has a very strong friction zone, which I was expecting the torque to be a little much for me, but it was actually okay. I think because I anticipated that. Watch out for gravel. So I haven't struggled with the higher torque that I'm dealing with than I was on 2 cruisers before. Probably because of that, because I know that it's there, so I've been really careful. But this bike is very, very torquey, and it is so smooth. And I don't know what it is about this bike that makes it so easy to ride. But last time I was in the mountains, whenever I've gone riding in the mountains with my cruisers, I would count how many times I got out of the lines just to test my progress and see how accurate I was going. I did, on one ride on my Suzuki S40 Boulevard, I did get to only 1 time out of the lines, which I was pretty proud of. Now this bike, I don't know what it is about this bike, but it's like it's made me a better rider. It's just more accurate. It's more easy to control. I haven't gotten outside of the lines once. And there was a moment when I got onto a tight turn that was coming up that I didn't notice because I was distracted by this gorgeous church in the country. And I was like, oh crap, I'm about to get to this tight turn and I'm not prepared. And I completely made it with room to give. So this bike it turns really easily, and it's so nimble since it's really light. It's 100 pounds lighter than my last bike, and that makes it so easy to maneuver anytime a tight turn does come up, or if I hit a spot where I wobble. Like for example, I ended up on what I call waffle road, like unfinished road here on Highway 60 coming up to the top of the mountain. Did not expect that. It was very scary riding on that, and at one point this bike wobbled and I thought I was going down, but since it's so light, I kept on the throttle and I was able to keep it upright, which was awesome. It tells you the speed digitally so you can see it easily. It tells you what gear you're in, which is amazing. It tells you the time, and this is something I have been needing a long time. It tells you how much fuel you have. That is awesome. I can't believe it. I love that. I've already gotten on the highway on this. I've never been one to speed or want to race, but this bike is so smooth, and even at highway speeds it's so smooth, and the wind deflects so well on it. I don't feel like I'm struggling when I'm already at high speeds. So at a couple times some riders passed me and I was like, oh, let me catch up. Woo! 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 Sorry, I surprised myself there. That throttle is awesome. So I did that on the highway and I was like, no, slow down, do not speed. But I'm telling you, if you've ever heard someone tell you that this bike makes you want to race or makes you want to go fast, it does. It's because it's so smooth and comfortable at highway speeds. I got this bike not to go fast, because that's never been my interest, but I got this bike because I wanted something light and easy to maneuver as someone that's short and not as strong as the average male. But I also wanted something that was very smooth at highway speeds. And if you've been watching my videos, you know that last year I test rode 10 different bikes looking for that perfect bike. And I narrowed it down to 3 bikes that I really liked. Originally I was trying to stay away from sport bikes, but I decided that from everything I wanted, a sport bike fit the bill really well. So I would just get over the looks, and it's true. Now, today when I was taking pictures of this bike, I was like, oh, it is so gorgeous. So out of all those bikes I had ridden, I narrowed it down to this bike, the Ninja 650, and the Triumph Street Cup. The final decision was a little bit financial and a little bit emotional as to why I picked the Triumph Street Triple R. But this bike, I love it. If you guys have been watching me for the past year, you're probably shocked right now, because all I've been doing in all my videos for the past year have been complaining about my Bonneville, about its weight, about its height. Now I have no complaints about this bike. It is so easy to ride. I feel like a pro riding it. It just does exactly what I want it to. It's so easy to physically handle because it's so light. I love it. And then once I got it lowered 1 inch, it's crazy the difference between 1 inch and not, when you're not a more experienced rider and you do clumsy, stupid stuff like I do. The difference between 1 inch was the difference between, I don't know if I should even ride this bike. I might drop it. And this bike is so comfortable and it feels so stable. I'm gonna ride this to the mountains today. That was the difference. It was incredible. So if you're thinking about getting the Triumph Street Triple R, do it. I'm telling you, you will love this bike. You will not be disappointed. It rides beautifully. It handles amazingly. This is nimble. This is smooth. This is awesome. I love it. I love it. It's so comfortable. It's so smooth. This picky girl that can't be pleased with anything is totally 100% satisfied. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're still considering the Triumph Street Triple R, I know ANETTE CARION. She also has a Triumph Street Triple R, and she got this bike because she commutes with it. She's got a great review video about it that's really informative, and she's beautiful. And also Cherry Blossoms, another gorgeous genius rider who has this bike. She works at a dealership, so she knows bikes, and she picked this bike out as well. And I'll put in there either their channel, or if they have a review video on this bike, I'll put that in the description. Anyways, if you're considering getting this bike, let me know why in the comments. Or if you thought about it and decided not to, I want to know that too. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm gonna go ride some twisties. Bye.